and I ended up getting myself a Grand Seiko. It was a Grand
Ooh.
Seiko from Ginza. It was a Ginza exclusive, limited to 500 pieces, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Um,
my.
and they put it out. That's only available at the flagship store and a couple of stores around Tokyo. So that actually had a lot of meaning. It's all about the dial game with that particular watch. And that particular dial that was limited was a Ginzo's Snowfall in Ginza, which happened to be a rarity in March that both Glenn and I experienced because snow started falling while we were there in March. And
How
what
cool is that?
want to memorialize that with a Snowfall in Ginza watch from Grand Seiko.
Hey everyone, welcome back again to Wolf Watch Club. My name is Gabriel, your community host, and I am here with Greg Lewandowski, who is our Rolex Submariner Starbucks winner. Jory Goodman, if you're watching, I know that's like your favorite watch. Greg is super excited about it. He's going to tell us about it. But yeah, no, we're here to learn about Greg, who he is as a individual, what his hobbies are, things he likes to do, touch on his watch collecting journey, and then we'll get into his experience with Wolf Watch Club. So, Greg, the floor is yours, my friend.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Gabriel. So, a little bit about myself. So, I manage money. I'm a wealth manager. So, I deal a lot with higher net worth clients. A
Cool.
lot of my clients do look at what I wear on my wrist, as prospects and clients. They just want to make sure that success breeds success. So, they have this eye for that. But my watch journey really actually started back when I first got my AMG C63S. And
Nice.
yeah, that car was just a beast. It was my first like reward for myself for doing a good job, making sure my clients are taken care of. It was kind of like a reward to myself, but I didn't really have anything on my wrist outside of an Apple Watch, which again is
Mm.
it's a great watch to have when you're
Hmm.
working out. Um, but then I took a look at the clock on my AMG, and it was a 2016 model, and it had a wonderful IWC piece right there, and I'm like,
Love it.
IWC, what is IWC? Until I learned it was the International Watch Company, and then I learned a little bit about that background and so forth, and how it got into that car. I'm like, you know what? I can't just have my car wearing that and sporting that. I need to be sporting that myself when I'm not near my car. So I looked it up, and I did do. I didn't get it at retail. I did go ahead and buy it through a third party.
Hmm.
Just jumped on and looked at it, fell in love with the Portugueser, and it was a very simple piece, and picked that one up, and that's what started my journey. But the IWC before that and my next watch, it was about 4 years before I bought it. So
Mm.
although that started my watch journey, it didn't really accelerate into my watch journey until my friend Glenn. He and I, we good friends going back a long time. He got me into the world of pens, more specifically Mont Blancs.
Ah.
So with the Mont Blanc journey, that escalated to me having like pens like this. I have about, I can't tell you right now, maybe 12, 13 pieces or so. Again, with signing with my clients, it all has to do, client facing and so forth.
Yeah.
They're really nice, solid pieces. And one thing led to another, which eventually ended opening me up to buying my first Omega, which was the Moonwatch in like
Nice.
2020. And once I got that, I got hooked. And next thing you know, my collection just evolved into, I'm guessing I have like 12 pieces or so.
Wow. Okay. So, couple things.
Yes.
Right off the bat, love that the IWC clock in your Mercedes is kind of like the catalyst to your like, hey, that's a cool That's a cool, like, just looking clock that's in this
Mhm.
really nice car. And then that just sparked the, you know what? Let me actually like look into what IWC is. And I love stuff like that because like I'm a huge car guy, so I love seeing especially like Mercedes, Bentley, Rolls-Royce. They do like a lot of really crazy stuff sometimes with watches.
Mhm.
There was like a really cool one-off Rolls-Royce, like I think like in the last year or so, that had like an AP Royal Oak like in the dash that acted as a clock, and you could also wear it, obviously, because it was like a $20 million car or something like that. So I'll throw like a image of that because that's just crazy. And then I also love the fact that the Mont Blanc pens. Do you have a Mont Blanc watch in your collection at all, or no, just
I
pens?
do not, just the pens. Yeah, it doesn't mean that I don't like the Mont Blanc. They have their place, but
Yeah.
I really was attracted more towards the Omega and Rolex stories. Not saying that there
Okay.
isn't a good solid story with Mont Blanc, but the Mont Blanc pens, solid stories with each one of these pens. But I never
Yeah.
really ventured into the Mont Blanc watch.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hear they have really some really cool, amazing watches too. So I think you should definitely pick one up at some point because it just, you have the pens, which are great pens, by the way.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously that's like what they're mainly known for, but I've seen some of their watches too in person, and it's kind of one of those. It's kind of it almost reminds me of like Victorinox, how they're mostly well known for like the Swiss Army knives and like the everyday carry stuff. But they also make really cool watches as well. So like sometimes you gotta like look at these companies who make like, everyday kind of items and then they also make watches and then you're just kind of like, oh snap, they actually are like some serious pieces as well.
Very, very serious. I just have not had a chance to even venture into that tangent yet. Although I did start off with the Mont Blanc pen, so
Nice. And then so obviously you're a car guy. So what is like so is Mercedes like your go-to brand? Is that like your favorite brand? Like what's like your favorite brand either just because of their product, their history, or just a car that you owned that was just
I've always
like
liked,
off the charts?
yeah, I've always liked the AMG. That was my go-to. But as
Cool.
always, you kind of look at other brands to give those a try as well. Just like you're mentioning, give Mont Blanc a try, kind of thing. I'll
Yeah.
probably after this go in and start looking them up. And next time we talk, I might be sporting a Mont Blanc, But like this time, I'm focusing now on the BMW. So I have a BMW 2024 M3 Competition X Drive. So that is a beast of its own, full carbon fiber, inside out,
Nice.
quad exhaust in the center with the M Sport. It's just an amazing car. It's mostly digital, so there is no
Yeah.
individual watch or piece or anything like that there.
Yeah.
But I guess I can get an Apple Watch again if I wanted to do that digital. But
That's yeah, that's true. But I mean, look, watches and cars, as I'm sure the people watching know, they go together like peanut butter and jelly, basically. Like I got into watches when I worked for Jaguar and Land Rover. Like I was exposed to so many salespeople that had, Royal Oaks, Yacht Masters, gold presidential day dates and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, no, I love it's just a natural thing when you collect watches. If you
Mhm.
collect watches, likely you like cars. If you like cars, it's very likely chance that you like watches. When I was talking to Robert, he was also mentioning how he had like the AMGs. He has like an S2000, and then he has like an S2000 watch that goes with it too, and stuff like that. So, I love that. I love that world. So, is there a particular watch in your collection currently? Uh, Pre-Submariner Starbucks that you won that is your favorite, or is there a particular one that has like the most meaning to you? Maybe it was like to mark an achievement, a milestone in your life.
Yeah, yeah. So the first big milestone that I had was actually the first Rolex that I picked up, which
Mm,
is the Batman. So that's a GMT Batman.
cool.
That one right there is an amazing piece. I like to travel a lot,
Yeah.
and I really wanted to focus on some sort of GMT. And what better way is to get a GMT as, a Rolex, a Batman. And that watch has traveled all around the world with me. I mean, I've taken
Mhm.
it out to Japan. I've taken it out to Iceland most recently. I've taken it out to
Nice.
Ireland, Switzerland. I've been all over the place with that particular watch, and it's
Nice.
really helped me really ground myself into the travel and neurology that is associated with that. But that is probably and still is really a staple in my collection and my go-to outside of the Starbucks, which has a good story of its own. But the second watch that I would say is really a watch that I picked up with my buddy Glenn last time we went. We saw the Dodgers play out there at the Tokyo Dome in late
Mhm.
March of this year. And I ended up getting myself a Grand Seiko. It was a Grand
Ooh.
Seiko from Ginza. It was a Ginza exclusive, limited to 500 pieces, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Um,
my.
and they put it out. That's only available at the flagship store and a couple of stores around Tokyo. So that actually had a lot of meaning. It's all about the dial game with that particular watch. And that particular dial that was limited was a Ginzo's Snowfall in Ginza, which happened to be a rarity in March that both Glenn and I experienced because snow started falling while we were there in March. And
How
what
cool is that?
want to memorialize that with a Snowfall in Ginza watch from Grand Seiko. So that's a stunning piece of its own.
You couldn't even like write that. That is just so like perfect. Like again, now that watch instantly every time you wear that watch, you're gonna be reminded of that moment that you shared with your friend Glenn in Japan. And I
Right.
mean, what better watch to memorialize that than
Yeah.
like the king of of basically any watch in Japan, basically Grand Seiko, right? I mean, yeah, you definitely gonna have to send me a photo of that because I can only imagine what that thing looks like.
I'll send it over to you.
Oh man, that's awesome. So, okay. So you also obviously you have some really killer watches in your collection. Now, what led you to discover Wolf Watch Club? And then had you discovered Wolf Watch Club prior to the Submariner draw, or was that the first one and you were like, "Hey, that's a watch I'm interested in. Let me try my luck, right? Did you discover it through Time Teller? Was it kind of naturally on Facebook or Instagram or wherever? How'd you discover it?
The word of mouth, and again, going back to Glenn, he's probably going to watch this and go, "How many times are you going to say my name?" But yeah, Glenn followed Jory, the time teller, for
Okay.
upwards of a decade. So he was following him, and then all of a sudden, Jory started talking about the Wolf Watch Club, and look, these are the watches available. You can buy tickets for them, and you can participate, and it's like a community that's growing, right? And then Glenn connected me with Wolf Watch Club during the OP draw. So it was I think
Hmm.
three drawings before the Starbucks, or four, 3 or 4 or so. And I bought a few tickets there. Didn't win, but that's fine. Didn't discourage me. I watched for which subsequent watches came about. I think the no date sub was there too, or date sub, but I already have one. So, I'm like, I'll just pass on this one. But then, the Starbucks came around. And then I went all in on the Starbucks because that one right there, again, has a story of its own, which really got me going. I got to get this watch. And if I didn't win, that's fine. I would have still
Hmm.
continued, you know, bidding in on other watches, subsequent watches. But I mean, that one is one that I really, really hoped to have won. And when I got my name read, I'm like, what is going on over here?
Oh my God. Yeah, oh, I mean, it was meant to be clearly. So, I mean, and you're and show the camera you've got on your wrist there, right? There it is.
there it is, right over here. That's my Starbucks. Yeah, I take this literally every morning up because I walk from my house all the way up to Starbucks and grab myself like some sort of, either hot chocolate or, an iced chai or a matcha tea latte, whatever it is, right? And then on my way back, I always look at it and I'm like, oh, that's right. That was my Starbucks run. So it's has a lot of meaning already because I don't know to my detriment or not, I drink Starbucks and spend money there. So, it's one of those things that it has meaning and it's part of the whole story.
Yeah, I mean, you basically incorporated it beautifully into your morning routine, basically. I
Yep.
mean, that alone is already something now, like, 10, 20, 30 years from now, when someone asks you about it, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
here's how I got it. And also this was like, this was the watch I wear every morning. Like, I like Starbucks. I wear it. I go to Starbucks, it also, I've also created all these other memories with it now at that point. So
But wearing it in the morning, yes, I wear it every morning, practically every morning. But I do switch out my watches. So I wear this in the morning. Sometimes I wear it the entire day. Sometimes I switch it over to the Batman. Sometimes I switch it over to my other no date sub. Sometimes I
mhm.
switch it over to the Grand Seiko. Depending, hey, I mean, Speedy Tuesday, I have that, so I'll put that on. But I always tend to start off with the Starbucks now because that again has that meaning.
Yeah. Oh man. And so just out of curiosity, what's like your like lounging around at home watch? Is it one of the Rolexes or the Speedy, or do you have maybe like a I don't know, maybe a less expensive watch that's just kind of like lounging around at home kind of thing, or are you just always rocking cool pieces?
Yeah, I pretty much just rock those pieces. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a lounge around watch. I did for the longest time in the afternoon switch over to like my Apple Watch. At
Okay.
the time I had the Hermes band off the Apple Watch. It was a 9 series. I haven't got another one. I actually sold that one too because
Okay.
now I'm just rocking these pieces. But that was kind of like my go-to. I'd jump on a mountain bike, do some biking and so forth. But now I have a Garmin that tracks all that. So it's one of those things that it's whatever watch I have wearing coming back from work, unless there is like some special event that I'm going to with like a client dinner or some other dinners, then I may decide to switch it up for a third watch that day. But I always switch my watches around. So I enjoy each and every one of the pieces. They're not in a safe.
That I love that. And I'm also one of those for lack of a better word, crazy people who also switches out watches like several times a day. Not that
Yeah.
it's to some people it seems crazy. For me, it's perfectly normal because I may be like, I want to wear this watch to work, or I'm lounging around the house and I want to wear this, and then at night I just want to throw on my $25 Casio just to lounge around, whatever the case is. But I love that you're constantly rotating the watch based on the situation, what you're doing. I mean, that's as collectors, we have all these watches. That's kind of the point. Is
That is.
is yeah, because like I hate seeing like one watch in my watch box that's just kind of like please use me today. Like, like hey, like you haven't worn me in like a week or something like that. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay.
Just like with cars, some people are fortunate to have one sport car, right? But
Yeah.
those big car collectors have, let's just call it out like 10, 15 different cars, exotics, right? What do they
Yeah.
do with it? They don't just drive that one car. They kind of rotate
Yep.
to, level off the wear and tear on all the cars and keep all of them valuable. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving an opportunity because I bought each one of these or one, each
Mhm.
one of these watches for a particular reason, a particular story, a particular purpose. So every time I wear it, I look at myself and I'm like reminding myself of where I was that when I purchased that watch or what the story about that watch is, reminding me of my adventure. So that's all these watches and timepieces do for me.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So now that you've got the Submariner, the Starbucks. Uh, could you just kind of, especially for people who are maybe new, just discovering the channel, just discovering Wolf Watch Club, how was that process with entering the draw? I'm sure, well, you definitely were in touch with Mark at some point, especially after the win. Like how, like basically walk me through like how easy it was to just, enter a draw, and then when you got your name read on live saying that you won, how easy and how quick was it to actually receive the watch afterwards?
Right. So, I mean, super easy process. From the start, entering the draw, very easy. So you click on a button, takes you to how many you want to buy. You enter that amount. The more you buy, the bigger the discount. You satisfy a challenge question on there. And then afterwards, you go to the purchase screen and you purchase it, and it's super easy. Okay, you get immediate email notifications to your tickets and your price, what you purchase, your receipt, and then you put that away and wait for the draw. I unfortunately wasn't live until the very, 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 very end, jumping on because I went, oh crap, okay, there was a live draw, and so I didn't really see myself live, but I mean, I rewound Jory's announcement on YouTube and I had to watch it a few times because I was a little bit in disbelief, thinking, wait, I mean, Lewandowski is a very popular Polish last name. And I'm like, wait a second, is that a different guy or is that me? And then it said US. And I'm still not sure if it's me, kind of thing. And people yelling out, congratulations, Greg, congrats. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I watched it a few times before it actually set in that I did win. Um, but then after that, shortly after, Mark went ahead and sent me a congrats email, and that really solidified knowing that that was my name that was read. He asked me for a few questions. He connected me with one of his marketing guys. The following day, we had a quick, brief, interview. He got confirmed my information, and then everything was shipped off. And within a couple of days, I ended up getting that watch, as promised, overnight with tracking. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? So it was a great, seamless experience. Mark was in constant communication. Wolf Watch Club always, always, always followed up. I mean, it was an experience that I mean, I wasn't expecting, but it happened. And that's why I continue to put, dabble a little bit in subsequent draws and everything like that to help everybody out because it's a community of collectors. We
Yes.
all help each other out a little bit. I'm trying to give back even with this video, just so people understand. I mean, it's the real deal. I mean, take a chance, buy a ticket, one ticket. It's not that expensive.
It literally only takes that one ticket. As I'm sure you know, Mark and Jory have reiterated multiple times that most of the winners have either bought tickets like day of, even sometimes hours just before the draw, or they just bought maybe like one or two, basically less than five. Let's just basically call it like less than five. There are people out there, who buy like 10, 20, whatever the max is, but a lot of the winners just really only bought a handful of tickets, and that's all it took. So, literally all it takes is just that one. You just never know, um, especially with like the great selection of watches that we have. Are you entering it all into the Sprite or the Winner's Choice
Yeah,
Breitling?
both. So I have the Breitling. So I think I'm top on the leaderboard right now with 13 tickets,
Okay.
and so I entered like three initially and then bought another 10 subsequently kind of thing. And
Okay.
I'll probably pick up a few more. But for the Sprite, yeah, that's another one. That's a GMT. That's a really nice watch, right? And it is green. So it's not necessarily the Starbucks, but still, so I am going to drop a little bit more. I've already entered some, into that, but I
Okay.
am going to drop a little bit more because that one is so inexpensive for what it really is on a monthly draw. It's just crazy not to do it.
Yeah, the Sprite is I mean, and that's also I think it still is the hardest one to get, right? I don't think a lot of people are going for that model typically like in the ADs, but it's kind of a hard model to find because of the colorway, and then also because it's a left-handed
Right.
watch as well, which makes it a little bit even more unique. And then it's got the that like the Jubilee bracelet and everything. I mean, I love the
Mhm.
GMT Master 2. I think
Oh,
it's one of the coolest watches out there, especially the history of like Pan Am back, when they
mhm.
first came out. Kind of reminds you of like that romanticized era of jet travel.
Yeah,
So
I cannot wait to see Wolf Watch Club put up a Pepsi. So once that goes up, I mean, I'm going to have to figure out a way to make sure that, I mean, it's all random draws, but I mean,
mhm.
it's one of those things. I'm going to make sure that I have every entry in there as possible for that particular piece.
Gotta collect all the GMT Masters, right?
Yeah, gotta do it.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, again, everyone has already told you, but congratulations again on the Submariner win. And hey, Mark Martin won twice already, so who
Oh,
knows?
yeah,
You
that's awesome.
you could be the next double winner too. And yeah, I hope to see your name come up again. And because like I just love your journey, the fact that you buy watches mainly for to like create those memories and those stories with. Um, you know, like you were saying earlier, the GMT, you take that all over the world with you. I mean, what better watch to take with you to travel and see the world? The Ginza Special Edition Grand Seiko. I mean, that's just a killer piece. That could be a whole another separate video just on that piece, you
Right.
know? So my last question is gonna be, um, and I'm actually gonna make this interesting. So if money is no object, okay, what is your grail piece? And then also, what is like the uh let's call it grail sports car or supercar or wherever or whatever that you would want if money was no object. So grail watch and then grail sports car, supercar, or whatever you want to call it.
Hmm. So I'll start off with a car. I've always liked McLarens. So, maybe I'll pick up a McLaren here, beautiful orange, something that stands out,
Nice.
I mean, with those kind of cars, you kind of have to make a statement. That's what those cars
Yeah.
are. So we
Yeah.
can't just dilute it with just a, blah color. It has to stand out. As far as for a watch, I mean, I know people are probably going to expect me to say like maybe Richard Mille or like some AP or Patek or something like that. But I'm actually working on my Grail watch right now, which is a Vacheron Constantin.
The
It's
overseas?
overseas, yeah. So it is. I went into the Beverly Hills store just to take a look at that. Yes, the single, just the plain one is it's an amazing piece. But my Grail would be the tourbillon that it comes on.
Mm.
I mean, when I saw that in person and I wore it on my wrist because they let me take a look at it, I mean, that is just one hell of a watch. So it would be the Overseas Tourbillon in the blue, because that is the boutique special. So yeah, that is my Grail watch right now. Doesn't mean that I won't take or say no to like Richard Mille, but at the
Yeah.
same time, this is what I'm targeting right now.
Wow. So one of my grills is just the standard overseas, just the blue dial. Because
Right,
like
right.
I'm like thinking like okay maybe of that's like more doable, more reasonable. Maybe it's only like $35,000 or something like that. Something crazy. But the tourbillon that I've only ever seen it obviously in like videos and like their marketing, and I can't imagine what wearing one of those must be like.
Yeah, I know. I took pictures and I think I took a video of it actually, on my wrist. So I'll send that one over to you as well. Yeah, I think they quoted me, if I'm not mistaken, it was about $140,000 for that particular watch. But you're right. Just the plain Vacheron Constantine overseas, that I think that goes for about 28, and then there's like the GMT version, which is another 5K above that, and then there's like the, you know, like kind of like the um, there are multiple levels to it, ultimately leading up to the tourbillon, which is where I want to get. Not saying that that will happen this very moment, but I mean, wink, wink, Wolf Watch Club, maybe you can secure one, and I'll be dropping thousands of dollars into that.
Oh my God, that would be an absolutely insane watch. I mean, you never know. Once the club grows to a certain point and is big enough, I mean, you just never know. I mean, I love that choice because it's not, it wasn't just like a Royal Oak or like maybe an offshore or anything like that, which are still cool watches.
Yeah, phenomenal.
But I personally really love the aesthetic and the design language and just everything about VC. I mean they're one of the Holy Trinity if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, yeah, one of the oldest, if not the oldest.
So yeah, I mean that is a killer choice. And then the McLaren too. I mean, if I won the lotto or something, or if I ever make it big, I mean, I'm also getting a McLaren Spider because I just want a convertible. And then the McLarens are crazy because Lamborghinis are cool and everything like that, but there's something about McLaren.
There's just something about it. And I mean, Ferrari, you have to go through the whole thing. Same thing like
Yeah,
with the Rolex, get the one that you don't necessarily want. But I mean, it's still a Ferrari. So it's really good, even though
right.
it's not exactly what you want. And then eventually you have to go and participate in all these events. And then ultimately they will let you get what you want. But I mean, it's a whole process to do that. Just like the Rolex, which again, it's the name of the game. You got to pay to play.
Yeah, exactly. Which for Wolf Watch Club, same thing. You gotta, again, it only takes one. I know some people, I guess maybe were disappointed that buying a few tickets they didn't win. It's like, hey, it's just like any other. It's totally random, you
Mhm.
know. It's obviously like a risk reward thing. Like wait for the watch that you want, go
I, I'd
for
say,
it.
I'd say, to those that haven't won, just buying one or two tickets because it is random and you know what the odds are. Just pull up your own Chat GPT and just say, "Hey, Chat GPT, I bought two tickets out of the 290 that were sold. Why don't you go ahead and randomize for me 25 draws and then see how many times you win? Chances are you're not going to win, then you say randomize 100 draws and maybe you'll win once or twice during that, and it just takes that one time to win. That will happen, but you have to understand the odds. Now if somebody buys 25 tickets, then it's, hey, Chat GPT, randomize 25 out of 290. You have a lot more opportunity to secure a win. Doesn't mean that you know it's leaning in our direction, but it's just one of those things that the odds speak for themselves.
That's actually a cool way I feel to utilize because obviously AI is so
Yeah.
prevalent now. Everyone's got their opinions on AI. Like, the robots are gonna take over. They're gonna, all the jobs are gonna be taken from AI and stuff like that. But AI can be useful for those types of things. Just to kind of like simulate like hypothetical things,
Just
and you never know.
because I mean, I don't want people to get disappointed. Just know that there is a chance. Yes, you buy one ticket, you can be that one lucky winner. It only takes that one moment. You never know, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, you have to be realistic with the odds, even though the odds are some of the best around. I mean, if you want to buy a lotto ticket, it's 1 in 165 million, right? To win the grand prize. Here, it's 1 out of 290, but still, 1 out of 290, there are still 289 times that you may not necessarily win based on odds. So it doesn't mean that you should stop trying or you just say that this doesn't work or there, whatever the case is. No, it's just, just you never know. Just buy a ticket, spend only what you can afford, and enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And yeah, I think that's a good point as well to hit home and end on is, don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money because look, at the end of the day, with things that are going on these days with like the economy and finances, like it's obviously what Wolf Watch Club is doing is a great opportunity, especially for watch collectors, and the odds are great. But hey, like again, like don't go spending all your money into this one draw where, it's just be responsible. Go for the ones that you really want, and we have a lot of cool watches that are going to be coming up soon as well. And the winner's choice, I really like just because, hey, if you win, you get to pick whichever you
I
know
like them. Breitling. Yeah,
yeah, Super Ocean's one of my favorites, so I can't wait to see who wins the Super Ocean Heritage, especially now that you have three options. Um, so hey, Greg, dude, this has been awesome. I again thank you for taking the time to sit down with me, tell me about your journey, your collection, your sort of like collecting philosophy, your Submariner win. Um, yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I mean, killer watch, seriously. And for everyone in the audience, again, we're gonna keep doing this kind of stuff. We're gonna keep interviewing winners. We're gonna keep interviewing community members. If you're interested, please email us, DM us, info@wolfwatchclub.com or at wolfwatchclub.com on Instagram and all of our socials. We want to hear from you. We want to keep interviewing people, learning what makes you guys tick, what kind of watches you're into, what your stories are. And that's what it's all about. So, Greg, any parting words for us, or anything else you wanna let us, the community, know?
it's the word. It's just a set of words that I always say to even my buddy Glenn and everyone around. Those words are, "You never know." So you have to participate in order to win, and you never know. You can buy one ticket, you can buy 25. It doesn't really matter. You
Yeah,
never know. So just do it.
love it. All right, guys. So we'll see you in the next video. Please share, comment, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, visit our website, wolfwatchclub.com, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.